Well, Auburn won the toss, and they will defer. So we're going to see this high-powered offense to start. And Artavis Scott, one of the fine wide receivers, number 3, is back deep to return this kickoff. There is Daniel Carlson, one of the best field goal specialists in the land, will put it down. Gus Malzahn, I'll be eager to find out what he has and maybe what he doesn't have here tonight. The quest begins. Scott bubbles, will take a knee. It'll come out on the 25-yard line. And here comes the man, junior from Gainesville, Georgia, number 4. And Jesse, one of the leaders in the clubhouse in the early going for that Heisman Trophy. But with everything that's been going on around college football, Clemson better be careful.
Yeah, got to be careful. Can't come sleepwalking into Jordan-Hare. But I agree with you, Brent. What an opportunity to kick off the Heisman campaign here at night at Jordan-Hare Stadium in a hostile environment on national television.
Wayne Gallman, his 1,500-yard rusher. Number 9 will line up behind him. Jay Guillermo over the ball, will snap it. And Watson keeps it, but there was a false start. So one of those little mistakes, Jesse, that can start to add up, as we saw in Knoxville on Thursday with Tennessee.
Yeah, listen, you can practice crowd noise all you want back home at the friendly confines near Memorial Stadium and in practice, but until you're here living it in Jordan-Hare, this is one of the loudest venues in the entire country. It's certainly something that all head coaches worry about in their first game, those mental mistakes.
From the gun, Gallman pounds behind the right side, hit by a host of Auburn Tigers. Big Carl Lawson. Jesse, let's talk about number 55. He was in on that stop. Such a key man.
Yeah, listen, and when I look at this game, the one place I feel Auburn has the advantage tonight is that D-line versus Clemson's offensive line. They're led by number 55, Carl Lawson, who's finally healthy, and when he is, he's a first-round talent.
2nd and 11, tosses the slant to Scott, short of the first down, and it's 3rd down. Javaris Davis, one of the Davises in that secondary. This number 31 makes the stop. Carlton Davis on the other side. He wears number 6. Here's your first 3rd down for this hyped offense. Scott, bingo, cross midfield. Great reception on Scott's part. His vision was tremendous as he turned back toward that pass.
And it was a great read by Deshaun Watson. He had the one-on-one matchup outside with his roommate, Artavis Scott. Tight coverage on that play by Carlton Davis, but he back shoulders the throw.
Little option look, and they turn Wayne Gallman loose, the redshirt junior from Loganville, Georgia. Everywhere you look on this offense, there's a veteran and there's a producer. They have welcomed back Mike Williams as one of their wide receivers. There you see Kane, Deion Kane, number 8. He's a sophomore from Tampa. 3 wide receivers. They hit on their first 3rd down of the night. They bring Jordan Leggett in as a blocker. Gallman comes and just barrels ahead for another first down across that 40-yard line. 3rd down was so critical. Great catch by Scott, and here they are moving the ball on their first possession.
And I love watching Wayne Gallman run. He runs angry. He's a violent runner, and he's a guy that seems to get stronger as the game goes on. They've got to get him his touches, see if they can wear down this Auburn defense.
And Mike Williams is spread out to the right in this formation. Gallman, the running back. He's over on the short side of the field. Deshaun, though, looks the other way, and that should have been intercepted. Jonathan Ford hit him in a weak spot right between the numbers, huh?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson was looking for Deion Kane in the slot on a slant route, and he overthrew this ball. And I think it surprised Rudy Ford. Check this out again. It kind of comes out high, and all of a sudden it was right on top of Rudy Ford. If he could have caught that, I think that was a pick six.
Second down. How about the neon light here tonight and this down marker at Auburn? I'm looking across the field at it on both sides. That should help the players. Gallman bounces back to the right side. Watson helps him lead the way. Lawson finally gets him down short of the first down. Third down.
This Auburn defense has a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience, and this is a critical down right here early in this game to get a win. They understand the juggernaut that they're up against tonight, but they need to have positive plays happen early to gain confidence in this game.
Third down and 5. Watson checks over to the sideline. The coaches upstairs have looked at the defensive alignment. Defensive coordinator now switches his linebackers. Checkers game continues. Third and 5. Watson, a fine runner, now dumps it off. But he threw behind Gallman, and it is fourth down.
And that's a break the Auburn defense needed. It brings some pressure. They're stunning and twisting up front. They forced Deshaun Watson up. He has an open Gallman. If he could have caught that, that would have for sure been a first down. Looks like now the Clemson offense going to stay on the field, maybe outside the range of kicker Greg Hugel. You've got to have great rush discipline here with Deshaun Watson and make sure he's contained.
The corners press up. 4 receivers. Diamond on the left. From the pocket, incomplete, and it's Auburn football. Deshaun Davis, one of the 3 Davises. This one, number 57 on that defense, makes the play.
And Deshaun Davis was sitting back at his linebacker position, spying Deshaun Watson. He was going to chase after him. If he took off scrambling, he just had his eyes on the quarterback. Deshaun Watson's eyes took him all the way to the throw. Big play for this young Auburn defense early to build confidence.
Clemson knows that if they strike first, they can keep this crowd out of the game. Auburn knows that if they take charge, this will be one noisy scene here on the plains the rest of the way. And here is Sean White, Boca Raton, Florida. Starts the motion. Kerryon Johnson. And Truitt lined up in the backfield. A wide receiver. You know, they have lost so much at running back, so much production. When you consider that Rock Thomas transferred to Jacksonville State, Javon Robinson was kicked off the team. Barber jumped to the NFL. So right away on first down, they line up a wide receiver up behind the quarterback. There he is again, number 10. And there was movement by that offensive line. False start. That'll cost Auburn 5.
Number 73, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
We should mention, Brent, Sean White in at quarterback, and he won a 3-way competition here in the offseason. I think the reason he won the competition was because he's the best passer of the 3. They are a running team, but they want to have balance, something they didn't have last year. Very inefficient throwing the football. I think that's why Sean White gets the nod tonight. I think he gives them their best chance to win this game.
So here comes Cox back into the backfield. There's that fake and the handoff again to Truitt. Still searching for that run game. It'll be third down. Van Smith now. Clemson breaking in 2 new safeties here. Van Smith is one of them. Number 23. You know about those fellows that headed on to the NFL. Brent Venables against this hurry-up offense likes to substitute a lot. He'll have his hands full with all these kids on defense. You could see a late substitution here. Now Johnson checks in, number 6 for the first time. Kerryon Johnson. He flares. Throw back is high and caught by Marcus Davis. Davis, one of the veterans, and it will bring up fourth down.
Tremendous effort there by Carlos Watkins, a preseason All-American. Did a great job seeing the screen and going back and making a play. And there's Brent Venables for the 2nd straight year. He's got to replace 8 starters on his defense. We welcome those of you who just watched Georgia in a very good game
defeat North Carolina in the fourth quarter. We are scoreless. Clemson had the ball on the first series, drove down into Auburn territory. We're stopped on fourth down. Now, at the conclusion of Auburn's first series, a fair catch on a punt. Watson was 2 of 5 on their first series for 27 yards. Hands it off to Gallman, and this is our plan for success, Jesse, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
A lot of it, Brent's defensive. Now, first 15 plays is a key for the Auburn Tigers. They have to build confidence. If bad things happen, they could implode. And secondly, that defensive line we talked about, they've got to dominate. That's their biggest advantage in tonight's game.
So blitz. Swing it to Gallman, the running back. And with a second effort across the 40-yard line on that play. So Deshaun Watson, one cool customer.
I think Clemson offensively is really going to test that Auburn D-line. They're going to play with tempo, but you see how they're spreading the football to the perimeter of the field, trying to force this Auburn D-line to run east and west and get them tired and really challenge them.
Gallman, who carried the ball 5 times for 21 yards, takes a break. Tyson Day, I should say Dye, number 22, in for the first time here tonight. Watson moves over behind him, uses him to protect, and he runs for the first down, and he is crushed. There is Davis, number 57 on the line. That's his second big play in this game, and he sends a memo to Deshaun Watson. If you're going to run, big fella, we're going to bring the lumber.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is extremely decisive. When nothing's open, he puts his foot in the ground and gets north. But a big hit, remember, it was Deshaun Davis that knocked down the fourth down attempt earlier.
On 1st and 10, Watson with time goes deep down the sideline, out of bounds, incomplete. Kane, the intended receiver on that play. And Javaris Davis, number 31, was the defensive back that was covered.
And conversely, I think Clemson's biggest advantage, especially on offense, is their wide receiver group against Auburn's secondary. Clemson, we've talked about, is deep. They're very talented, and they're big. Auburn's secondary is smaller. They're not very experienced, and they're thin.
Adam Choice checks in. Among other things, Choice can also throw it from that running back position. This time he will carry it behind that right side. Crowder and through Morgan. Over there, the center is Guillermo. Mitch Hyde, of course, an outstanding left tackle. And Taylor Hearn is at left guard. There's your Clemson offensive line. They have 62 total yards already in this game. 3rd down and 7. Tight end Jordan Leger will slip into this offense at some point. 4 receivers go out. I don't see a flag. That was Leggett, the intended target, who had flexed out. Darrell Williams, number 49, good coverage.
Another stop for the Auburn Tigers defense. It was a 4th down stop on the first drive, and now good coverage. You're seeing it coming from the linebacker level. That was Darrell Williams in the slot that was covering Leggett outside. Carlton Davis there doing a nice job on Mike Williams.
Andy Teasdall back to punt it, and back deep is Marcus Davis. He's the wide receiver, wears number 80. Dangerous veteran on this team. Looks like good coverage, and Teasdale will fair catch it at the 13-yard line. So we'll take a break. Just underway in Auburn. Clemson of the ACC. Auburn of the SEC. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Kaylee Hartung is down below, and Kaylee, some of the fans didn't get a chance to hear that story about Sean White, and he's the starter at quarterback for Auburn.
Well, Brent, if you look at Sean White's numbers from a season ago, they won't give you confidence in why he won the job this season, but his story is so much more complicated than that. Now, as Rhett Lashley, his offensive coordinator, explained to me, this is a guy who has been doubted at every stage of his football career. In high school, he was invited to the Under Armour All-America game as an alternate to, of all people, Deshaun Watson. And as he heads to the sideline without him on the field, it brings us to the question of how many quarterbacks will we see from Auburn tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Franklin, who was the JC recruit, is one of 3. We saw when they were huddled up Very interesting. Jeremy Johnson had his helmet on, and so did John Franklin, who's on the field right now. So they want to disguise who's going to be in at quarterback. He hits Davis, read perfectly by the defense, and they blow it up. We expect to see all three quarterbacks, but why they have all three with helmets on is to keep the coaches from the coaches box for Clemson to call down and say, here comes number 5 or here comes number 6. Now Shaun White, number 13, as Kaylee told you, is a starter, and he comes back in now in a tough spot. 3rd and 10. This is brutal for a quarterback. Petway is his running back. Handed off to the wide out, nothing doing. So all the trickeration amounts to very little. It's 3 and out, and Clemson's going to get the ball back.
But it's impressive, Brent, for this Clemson defense, again, playing with 8 new starters, because Gus Malzahn's going to throw a lot of eye candy at you. He's going to have different quarterbacks back there. He's going to have trick formations and quick huddles, guys in motion and fake handoffs. And if you lose where the football is, you're giving up a home run. And right now, this Clemson defense, they look like they're playing at home. They look confident. They played well.
Kevin Phillips is the punter. Cloud off the side of his foot, and not a good punt. Took a great bounce, though, for Auburn. Close to the 20-yard line. So they'll work with Ray McLeod on a short kick like that to make sure that it doesn't roll. And it wound up being a 68-yard punt. Luck be a lady tonight.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by Shop, Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
And how about that, Jesse Palmer?
One of the all-time great entrances in college football, Brent. War Eagle.
I was here one night when War Eagle took off. Went out, left the stadium. Later came back.
He or she's you know, she'll run into a glass window from time to time.
Deshaun Watson to Clemson. Quarterback draw all the way, and he's out to the 22 as we go to the studio. Adnan Virk for an update on USC Alabama. Yeah, it's interesting, and I'll talk about the quarterback. Insiders in Alabama knew they wanted to get to Jalen Hurts, the true freshman. And here is Gallman busting ahead for a Clemson first down.
Yeah, this offensive line doing a nice job getting some movement at the point of attack and giving Gallman a chance to move. Again, tough guy to bring down. Auburn's defense has to gang tackle. We talked about the violent running of Gallman. Not an easy guy to bring down by yourself.
Coming back with him, jitterbug step, and came across the 35 with Trey Matthews. Well, Jesse, already Clemson with 80 yards of offense and Auburn with only 3. Auburn's offense is just searching for some kind of an identity. Second down and 6. Offensive line gave him time, 3rd and short. That was Ray McLeod. Reception.
This is a really tough offense to have to stop in these 3rd and short situations because you have so many threats, particularly running the football. Deshaun Watson or Gallman in the zone read game.
Dabo Swinney looking out at his offense on this 3rd and 1. Auburn brings pressure, and they stack the running back up. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, Dontavius Russell at defensive tackle just created a pile right in the middle of the field, and that's what really kind of forced Wayne Gallman to stop in his tracks. He tried to leap up over top of the pile, but just too many blue jerseys. And another stop for this Auburn defense. If you're Kevin Steele, their new defensive coordinator, you have to love what you've seen so far from your unit.
But you're going to put a lot of pressure on him unless that offense gets some first downs and keeps these big uns off the field on a humid night.
That's a great point, Brent. At some point, this offense has to be able to stay on the field and give this defense a rest and a breather on the sidelines.
Marcus Davis is back deep. Beautiful punt. He's going to hope it goes to the end zone, and it does. So we'll take a break. Clemson and Auburn scoreless in Alabama.
I'm Matt Schick. You're watching ESPNU's coverage of college football. Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Gorgeous day for a football game here in Auburn, Alabama. Jesse, how about those festivities? How about those parachuters coming down? 4 of them in the middle.
They just kept coming, didn't they?
You're going to do that for Good Morning America? Is that
I hope not.
Johnson's back now, firing complete. And there's their best offensive play of the game. Will Hastings. So it is Jeremy Johnson who has taken over here as quarterback, bringing a little life into this offense, and that was a fine throw. First down and 10. Terrific defense at the point of attack.
Yeah, it's Carlos Watkins again on the inside of that line. He's a preseason All-American, number 94, and you can see why. If there's a one-on-one matchup, he is so strong at the point of attack, and in pass rushing downs, he's too good of a pass rush in a one-on-one situation. So Auburn's going to have to start to work some double teams on him and trying to get him to move.
Second down at 9. Johnson quickly checks the sideline. Now he's got to go to work. Got a great arm. That's Davis to the 40-yard line.
Jeremy Johnson can make the wow throw. And that was an example right there. He's throwing the backside skinny post, and he has to get it there before linebacker number 10, Ben Boulware, can get outside. That is just a laser, and he puts it right in the body of his wide receiver.
Back quickly now, and the tempo starts to pick up. The running attack, and Dexter Lawrence, folks, for Clemson. Number 90. This is one of the most ballyhooed young defensive linemen in the country. Only a freshman from Wake Forest, North Carolina. They have told us that he can flat move for his size. On a goal line offense inside the 5, you'll see him line up as one of the blocking backs. What a tremendous future he has for the Tigers. Second down and 7. Giving it to Johnson. And this will be about a third down now and 6.
But I do think, if I'm Gus Malzahn, I'm leaving Jeremy Johnson in the game now for a couple of series because he's given a spark to this offense. They finally look like they have a rhythm until that play. As soon as I say that.
Timeout, Clemson.
So Clemson will take a timeout here early in the second quarter. Gus wanted that tempo to keep going. Remember the story of the poisoned oak trees at Toomer's Corner? They're back. And this young man has come armed and ready. Upset Clemson, and we're going to go rolling at Toomer's Corner in Auburn here tonight.
It's important here to note, Brent, Auburn right now is within field goal range for their kicker, Daniel Carlson. So Jeremy Johnson cannot take a sack.
Hastings has been working well out of the slot. Johnson steps up, fires too high, and that would mean Daniel Carlson will trot out of the field, attempting to give the Tigers of Auburn their first lead here tonight. Carlson a year ago was 23 of 27, made every one of his 40 extra points. He's a junior out of Colorado Springs. He's got NFL written all over. Here we go. On its way, 53 yards. And the underdog strikes first. What a weapon. In a close game, money in the bank for Gus. Starting to look like an offense. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Geico as part of Field and Stream Store's kickoff week. Speaking of a kickoff, here comes Carlson again. Clemson deep man is about 3 yards in the end zone. The wide receiver, Scott. Hangs it high, right at the goal line. He's coming out for a tremendous kickoff. Oh, man, what a weapon. They'll start from about the 15 or 16-yard line. Well, Jess, as I spoke earlier, a couple of big games still ahead of us. Tell me what you make of Ole Miss and Florida State Monday night.
I cannot wait for the battle in the trenches in this game. Dalvin Cook at running back for Florida State's a Heisman hopeful. He's got all 5 of his offensive linemen returning, but I think Ole Miss's defensive line might be better this year without Robert Kimdiche. Of course, they lost to the NFL. They've got a lot of weapons, and Marquise Hayes, Isaac Gross, a defensive tackle, back from injury. I think the battle in the trenches right there is going to really determine that game.
First down for Deshaun Watson and the Tigers. Scott comes over to the right side of the formation. Line holds low and reception. Williams first. Welcome back, Mike Williams. Suffered a broken bone, small one in his neck, when he collided with an upright last year.
Nice job getting down to the ground and securing that catch, getting the hands under it, putting in his body. Nice job.
You can see the respect that Javaris Davis was giving him. Quarterback draw again all the way for Watson, who's an outstanding runner, and he's short of that 30-yard line.
And Brent, Mike Williams makes this Clemson offense so much more dangerous. He's got the speed on the perimeter of the field to just run right by a corner, take the top off of defense, but it's 6'3", 225 pounds. He can also climb the ladder and win those 50-50 balls in the air. He is a nightmare for DBs to have to worry about.
2nd and 9 for Clemson. Watson going back to him for the first down, doing a terrific job, and that time they put Carlton Davis over there, the veteran defensive back, and this is a fine play.
Yeah, and that's what I'm just talking about right now. Carlton Davis is Auburn's biggest, most physical corner, but he's no match for the body and the strength that Mike Williams has.
First down and 10. Here comes Gallman pounding away. He was taken down by Matthew. Excuse me, Jeff.
That's okay, Brent. When Clemson starts to roll and they can start distributing the football to Mike Williams outside, and Wayne Gallman at running back, and Jordan Leggett at tight end, and Octavius Scott, there's just a myriad of problems spread out all over the field that Kevin Steele, Auburn's defensive coordinator, has to worry about.
Such a poised offense when you've got a veteran and a player like Watson. Hit, escapes. Going to get the first down as he steps across it and out of bounds. I thought he was going to get clubbed down by the defensive front. Adams was in on top of him.
And you talked about a poised offense, Brent, but what about poised by the quarterback? Deshaun Watson, he gets pawed in the face by Adams right there. Doesn't lose the football, doesn't lose his cool. He shuffles to his left, and there you see the speed off to get the first.
Now first down at the 35-yard line, trailing by a field goal. Here comes Gallman behind some of the big ones, cuts back, makes the most of it to the 26-yard line, getting roughened by the safeties. Again, it's back there at that safety position. Let's remember that Stephen Roberts was suspended. He was a starting safety from Auburn, and there's no question that Kevin Steele is going to miss him back there. 2nd down and 2. They show pressure. Watson stands in, delivers a strike. How about that for accuracy? Going back to Williams.
And again, the catch radius and the target. It's a skinny post, and it's in a lot of traffic. And Deshaun Watson actually rolled that football beautifully over top of a linebacker right into the breadbasket. And that is bad news for Auburn, folks, because Carlton Davis, an all-freshman SEC selection a year ago, he's their best chance at covering Mike Williams.
Jesse, how good has this drive been? I mean, Watson comes over. He's got a quick check of the sideline, but basically he's in charge out
But
there.
he's getting the ball to big number 7. That was something obviously we didn't see any of last year because of the injury, but you see how much Mike Williams can change the complexity of this offense because he provides you chunk plays, explosive plays. As we go back and take a look at this injury, see him down, and Gus Malzahn out there taking a look. He's kind of crouching over top of him right now. Obviously, you hope everything's okay. Ball got thrown into the body, just kind of draped on top of him, and it's kind of hard to see really what that injury may have occurred. And laying on the ground, I don't know if that's an upper body deal or if that's a lower body deal. It was a big collision as he was trying to bring him to the ground. Nick Ruffin, number 19, came in, and not sure if he got the wind knocked out of him, but good news right now, he's up and he's walking off the field.
So it'll be a first down for Clemson across the 15-yard line on the march on this drive. They started back at the 16-yard line. They've moved 71 yards in 7 plays. They're getting an average of 10 yards a play on this drive. That's the H-back look. Leggett over to the left. Williams, they wanted to give it to him for a touchdown. He was defended by Halsey, who had come in as a replacement.
Joshua Hosley makes a great play here. Watson has exactly what he wants. One-on-one outside with a much bigger wide receiver. Tries the back shoulder, and Hosley just did a great job competing. Didn't necessarily knock the ball away, but prevented Williams from coming down with it.
Now let's see what they come back with on 2nd and 10. Going to run it with the power back, Gorman, and now it's going to be 3rd and long. He's thrown for a loss. Terrific defense that time. Deshaun Davis, and Jonathan Ford, number 23.
If I'm Deshaun Watson on this big 3rd down, I'm thinking about Mike Williams outside if I've got a one-on-one opportunity. I've got a big tight end in Jordan Leggett at 6'5", 260. Playing tight end. Here's Leggett right up here. Good target over the middle of the field.
Has to step up and basically throw it away. Just there was great pressure, and there's also a penalty flag down in the end zone. And Dabo's reaction indicates that we may have pass interference back in that end zone.
Yeah, there was a lot of tugging.
Holding defense, number 23.
And that's what it was, Brent. It was defensive holding on Rudy Ford. He's only 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, and against a much bigger tight end, he just had to hold on to him. It's coming right here. You see 23 just grabs him on the trade. Dabo wanted it, obviously. He knows that was a flag. I think everybody in the stadium knew that was a flag.
Leggett caught 40 passes a year ago, and 8 were for touchdowns. So he becomes a huge target. They were trying to get the ball to him now. And after the penalty, it'll be a 1st and goal.
And Brent, here's an area where Deshaun Watson's legs become very, very dangerous. It's normally inside the 10-yard line that you see him keep these footballs. Makes it very, very dangerous to stop with 2 weapons in the backfield.
Straight ahead with the running back, and again that front. Deshaun Davis, number 57, is a man at that middle linebacker spot.
Really impressed with how he's playing here tonight. Really getting his first start, only a sophomore, but he's been physical. He's been playing downhill and just making plays for this Auburn D.
Brings a 2nd down and goal. There's Watson, running ability. Down by the 1-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd and goal.
And if I'm Clemson, I'm just going right back to that again, using Wayne Gallman as an extra blocker and getting the bonus. Deshaun Watson just seems to have a knack for finding creases. He's got such good feet, change of direction.
And Watson on a quarterback draw, he might walk in. 3rd down and goal. .   . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Brings Scott behind the formation. Going to give it to Goldman. Pounds ahead. Stopped by that defensive front. So now Dabo Swinney was the decision. You're inside of the 1-yard line. Why not go for it?
Safety Trey Matthews.
Here comes some big fellas onto the field now.
Wow.
Here comes Lawrence. We told you that freshman defensive tackle, and they're going to bring him over to the sideline now because there's an injured player. That's Ruffin.
And Brent, on that last stop, Trey Matthews, the Georgia transfer at safety, who weighs only 207 pounds, he took on a pulling guard in Taylor Hearn, who's 325, and didn't give up any ground. Watch this pull and the collision right here. A much smaller DB against a much bigger guard right in the hole, and he doesn't back up, and that allowed the linebackers to come from the other side in the pursuit and make a play. Just very, very physical. We're seeing Auburn play right now at the point of attack. Looks like Nick Ruffin, number 19 for Auburn, on the ground. That's the second DB we've seen down for the Auburn Tigers here on this series, and the second starter we've seen down.
And remember, Roberts out. The report down below from Cayley is that Davis could come back into the game. He was shaken up, but clearly Ruffin has to come out to the sideline now.
You know, because of that, we saw those big fellas jogging out in the field, right, Brent? We saw the defensive tackle, Lawrence, or Dexter Lawrence, coming out, and that kind of gave Gus Malzahn and Kevin Steele a bit of a heads up as to what they might expect. So they might have a different personnel now on the field expecting that jumbo package, one that they might not have had on the field had it not been for that injury.
Markel Boston is a fresh arrival, number 11 in that secondary. You see from behind him. Now it's 4th down and goal. It's that jumbo look. Lawrence is the left blocker. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to go to the right. Gallman behind it, and he walks in. Talk about a load when the big fellas line up.
Well, Brent, they brought in 2 defensive linemen on that play. Christian Wilkins, number 42, lined up in the backfield, and it was Lawrence, the true freshman, who went in motion. And really, Leggett at tight end was the one that sealed the edge, but behind 640 pounds of D linemen, nothing Auburn can do. That's a walk-in.
There's one thing going through Gus Malzahn's mind right now. Field goals are great, but you will not beat this Clemson offense with field goals.
I'll tell you what, there's something going on in Kevin Steele's mind around the defensive coordinator. How do I cover Mike Williams? What do I have to do? That's a problem right now.
Williams with 3 catches and 51 yards on that drive. 84-yard scoring drive in 13 plays. And they're the big fellas. Hey, that reminds me of the refrigerator. That's what Perry did. He played for Clemson. Oh, that's a lot of muscle coming at us.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by the turbocharged Lexus GS. Once you take control, there's no going back.
The 4 skydivers lit up this crowd with their arrival before the opening kickoff. There they are on the sideline. Guys, great job. And Alabama's pouring it on, and they have found a quarterback. We're going to show him to you right after this kickoff. We're going to go to the studio. Pulls that one. Okay. That's a penalty, of course, for down of bounds. So let's go to Adnan Burke for an update. Adnan, new quarterback in Tuscaloosa, my friend.
free kick out of bounds. 15. The ball be placed at the 35. First down.
Absolutely. So we welcome those of you who are watching Alabama dominate USC here at 7-3. It's a dandy. Jesse Palmer and Kaylee Hartung. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. First down and 10. Jeremy Johnson, in case you just checked in, 3 of 4 on their last field goal drive. He's taken over as the quarterback. Here's a quarterback draw, tripped up, and the big fella still gained about 3 yards.
So since Jeremy Johnson's been in and stayed in, this offense has been sparked a little bit. They've had some quarterback run success, but really it's been because of his arm. Gus Malzahn has to stay with him.
Shaun White started. John Franklin also played. Johnson set.
Guess who?
There is that big freshman Dexter Lawrence, run blocking for the touchdown. He is an All-American looming.
He's just a natural, Brent. He understands how to use leverage and how to use his hands. Brent Venables saw that on tape watching him in high school. Just watch him down here at the bottom, one-on-one, and just too big of a body, and the quickness to get up on Jeremy Johnson quickly and the strength to drag him to the ground.
Third down and 19.
You got to expect pressure here if you're Jeremy Johnson. Brent Venables loves to dial it up on third.
Here they come. Got him again at the 15. Fourth down, forced to punt.
Christian Wilkins, who's normally a defensive tackle, playing defensive end in this game because Austin Bryant, their best pass rusher, is out with a foot injury. He's a great athlete. Remember, he caught that fake punt against Oklahoma. He's out here again just working off the right tackle, Robert Leff, who's now given up 2 straight sacks on 2 straight plays. And Clemson's defense has found a weakness up front for Auburn, and they're exploiting it.
That's McLeod back deep. Kevin Phillips to punt it for Auburn. McLeod signals fair catch at midfield. Good field position for Deshaun Watson. What a wonderful story about Deshaun and his mom. And so happy to see that Deshaun's mother's here. We'll tell you that story when you come back. Deanne Watson, Deshaun's mother. And what a wonderful job she's done living in a very, very tough neighborhood. She was able to move Deshaun into a Habitat for Humanity home where he could be raised away from the gang violence, drug-infested neighborhood, gave him the best opportunity. She was stricken with cancer of the throat, had much of her tongue removed. She was able to survive the toughest battle of all. She has not missed a game in over a year now. And we congratulate her and Deshaun as Deshaun goes for the bomb. Incomplete. Second down and 10. McLeod was the intended target.
And Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, has a dilemma right now schematically. He has to decide what he wants to do with Mike Williams on the perimeter of the field. If you double cover him, you've got one less guy in the box to stop the run between Deshaun Watson and Wayne Gallman. There's Kevin Steele right there. But if you put more guys in the box now, Williams is single covered outside.
They bring the receiver around, Ray McLeod. And it'll be third down coming up as Darrell Williams makes the hit. And he's from a town called Hoover, Alabama. You folks in Alabama certainly know Hoover through the years. What great football players have come out of that high school.
Big third down. Auburn needs a pass rush. Where's Carl Lawson? He's up there at the top of the screen. Number 55. He's going to be working against the true sophomore left tackle, Mitch Hyatt.
Third down and 7. That'll be a heck of a battle. Hyatt to Gooden. Got a little double team help. Fire for the first down to Williams. But credit that offensive line. Lawson was coming to get it stripped. They take it away. Now Dabo's saying he stepped out of bounds over here.
Watching that in real time, Brent, I didn't think he did. Mike Williams had an opportunity to go out of bounds, but he decided to keep fighting. And Auburn just swarmed to the football. Carlton Davis, Trey Matthews, think number 49, Darrell Williams, got in there as well. And right here, he could have gone out. He had the first, but no, he's in bounds. Decides to lower the shoulder, and here comes all the Auburn Tigers swatting. I think it was 49, Darrell Williams, that got it out. What a big break for the Auburn defense and tremendous hustle. Talked earlier about the importance to gang tackle. Nice job running to the football and swarming. And bad ball security by Mike Williams.
Derek Brown, number 5, recovered the ball.
We got another change of quarterback now, Brent. They get rid of Jeremy Johnson, and now Sean White back in. So the musical chairs continues.
Well, Johnson sacked a couple of times for a loss of 22 yards. So Malzahn decides to go back to his starting quarterback, Sean White.
Rolling on the field. There's a fumble recovered by the defense. The play is under further review.
So they'll double check this up in the replay booth.
Take a look at this again here, Brent. Does he step out? No. Foot still in. So I think what they're going to look at, Brent, is they're looking at whether 49, Darrell Williams, was out of bounds when he swatted that away. If he's in fact the person that swatted the football out of Mike Williams' hands and he was out of bounds, then that's still Clemson's ball. Take a look at number 49 coming in here. He kind of looks like he leaves his feet, but he was out of bounds when he swats it away.
Right there.
Or is it number 28? See, the hard part about this is finding out who actually causes this fumble or who touches the fumble. See, 49 to me looks like he actually claws it out when he's still out of bounds. Watch right here. You see that hand right there by 49? It's coming in. He's out of bounds. And I think he's the one that kind of forces it. It looks like the ball's on top of Trey Matthews' jersey. But once I take a look at that angle, Brent, you have to ask yourself, is that indisputable in order to overturn the call? And you know, that's something I wasn't really considering before, but the more I look at that, see, there's the hand on the ball, and he's out of bounds. I think that gets overturned from those angles and stays Clemson's ball. That's my call. One of the added benefits back in Birmingham in the video center, having extra eyeballs on this to really get multiple opinions. It's important to note, though, at the end of the day, it's the officials here on the field that have the final say. Video center's there to help and offer their opinion, but it's really ultimately what the officials here are looking at.
After further review, the play stands as called.
All indisputable, the key word on that play. They didn't find that it was indisputable evidence, so they're going to let it stand. And here comes, remember, Sean White back in at quarterback, 1st and 10, 4:45 first half.
I just want to clarify one thing. I meant officials in the booth here have the final say with respect to instant replay, not on the field.
Sean keeps it. It's back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a 2nd down and long.
And Brent, I think Gus Malzahn has to make his decision who wants to play quarterback. Now listen, I played in a rotating quarterback system at Florida under Steve Spurrier. Some guys, like myself, I didn't need to get into a rhythm to play, but other guys do, and I know it's difficult at the quarterback position for both Jeremy Johnson and Sean White to do that. For this offense to start clicking, I think he's got to stick with one person.
Fake, looking to go downfield, breaks a tackle and scrambles out to the 41-yard line. Pagano brings him down.
So the thing about Sean White, he's got better running ability than people give him credit for. He's not a game changer like Nick Marshall or Cam Newton was, but you got to remember, he had a knee injury last year against Arkansas, and he wasn't the same quarterback in the second half of the season. He's healthy now, and he's a good enough runner, just enough to make this defense respect him. This is an opportunity here on 3rd down. If there's pressure, he can buy himself time and get off a throw.
Gus would love to send Cam Newton in for this play. 3rd down and 4. Deflected, incomplete, forced to punt.
Yeah, Ben Boulware coming in on a blitz. Kerryon Johnson trying to pick him up, but Ben Boulware was able to get his hands up, I think, and knock this one down. Here he comes. He's a guy, a leader on this team as a senior. He's a guy they've been blitzing forever on 3rd down. They also got good push on the interior by big number 90, Dexter Lawrence.
McLeod back again. Here's Kevin Phillips. 3:36, 7-3. Tigers going to get the ball here before the intermission. And a whistle. A flag.
False start. Offense. Number 41. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Clemson, obviously, with 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go, would love to, obviously, they're going to get this in good field position with an opportunity to tack on points, which is important here. Auburn's going to be the team that receives first in the second half. Clemson obviously wanting to pad that lead as much as possible here before halftime.
McLeod going over to the sideline. Fair catch at about the 23-yard line. Adnan, what's brewing for halftime? All right, and then looking forward to that. And indeed, what an afternoon. How about Houston? Houston sets sail. They'll be seeking a Final Four slot. Hand it off now. Big fella, Gallman carrying it. And when you look ahead at Houston's schedule, circle a date in November.
Yep.
Louisville goes into Houston. If Houston stays undefeated, that's a monster. Folks, one of the sleepers in the country, along with Houston this year, is going to be Louisville. Beware Petrino after a few years. Man can flat out coach. When he gets off his motorcycle, he's good. Here's Deshaun Watson scrambling, and he's short of the first down.
So critical again on these passing situations that Auburn keeps their lane integrity. On that last play, they did not. They had two players right in the middle of the field, and Dontavius Russell and Montravius Adams basically run into each other, and Deshaun Watson's just too seasoned. When he sees a lane, he's decisive. Clemson taking their time, the 2 timeouts in their back pocket, leading this clock. Big 3rd down. And they're going to call a timeout.
Timeout is called.
Timeout. Clemson.
Yeah, these are the things that head coaches worry about week 1. You try to kind of go over every situation in 2-minute situations and getting your offense to hustle. And mental mistakes aren't what you expect, especially from a senior in Jordan Leggett. So Dabo Swinney, his team's in a dogfight right now. On the road, hostile environment. They were picked to win this game by a lot. Only up 7-3. It's the defense that's finding some confidence, and a crowd here at Jordan-Hare Stadium is still very much in the game.
188 yards for Clemson and 38 for Auburn. That's total yardage in the first half. 3rd down and 2. Watson, and there's a penalty flag.
Oh boy.
Ball start.
I guess, yeah, and it's, I hate to say this, it's on Jordan Leggett, number 16.
Ball start. Offense. Number 16. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And he's leaving the game, obviously. And
the senior is now you see what's interesting, we're folks, I don't blame. Let me go down a little bit away from depth, okay? Now, I'll just kind of slide over here and get my Gatorade, relax, and get my thoughts back together again. Don't blame you. Don't blame you at all, George.
That's a senior move right there.
3rd down and 6 now.
Who can bring the pass rush for Auburn? We talk about Carl Lawson, but he's right now lined up at linebacker here over the middle of the field.
Press corners on the wideouts. The Heat can't get there. Throw, and Williams with it. There's a penalty. Penalty is called against Davis. Javaris Davis, number 31, and that will give them a fresh set of downs.
It's a good call, Brent. It's defensive holding.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 31. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Or pass interference. He grabbed an entire fistful of jersey on Mike Williams, who was running the corner route. Carl Lawson came on a blitz. Gallman did a great job picking it up, which allowed Deshaun Watson to get this football off. You see right there, the left arm extended. Lots of cloth. Mike Williams still with that catch radius and those long arms was still somehow almost able to reel that in.
That moves the ball up to the 41-yard line on this first down. Watson's got Williams again. You know that he wants number 7, and we welcome back that young man who suffered that neck injury.
Yeah, it's too hard to cover. The back shoulder throw is virtually impossible for a cornerback that has his head turned. And how many times early in this first half as we've seen Deshaun Watson complete these back shoulder throws? I always thought that was one of the hardest throws to complete. Deshaun Watson making it look easy.
Closing in on 100 yards here in the first half. 83 yards already. Here is some more. Man is lighting up the Auburn secondary. That's his 6th catch of the first half.
And he's got these cornerbacks guessing right now. We've seen he's made a lot of plays to the perimeter outside between the numbers and the hash. And that's where these cornerbacks, and Javaris Davis thinks he's going. Then he puts his foot in the ground and runs the slant inside. Totally turns Davis around. That's an island right now that none of these corners want to be on. It's become Mike Williams' island.
4 plays for 59 yards. Getting Richard set. He replaced Leggett. Pounding back with Gallman. When you think about Deshaun Watson and you go back to that championship game, it is mind-boggling that he had 478 total yards against Alabama.
And they weren't supposed to get a first down. Remember? Everybody kept talking about that front 7 for Alabama and all the different NFL prospects they had. And that was almost like a Vince Young-esque performance by Watson.
2nd down and 7. Pump fake. End zone. Williams couldn't quite hang on. Decent coverage by Holsey. Holsey's defended him pretty well over there a couple of times.
Yeah, he has. And this looked like it was going to be a catch by Williams. And it was Holsey that got his hands in between Mike Williams and batted this ball away. Watch this. It's a perfect throw by Watson. Extended. Look, the hand kind of comes in and forces him to bobble it. You're right. I think the one guy that seems to have done the best against Mike Williams, it might have been a little bit of a push-off there. But Holsey, good play.
Here's your 3rd down.
You got to identify where big number 55 is right here.
Watson's going to take off. And you know who was helping close in from behind on that play. That's Deshaun Davis, also number 57.
Another big win for this Auburn defense. They're going to force a field goal here and go into halftime down 7. I think you'd say that was a pretty good scenario for Gus Malzahn and Auburn heading into this game.
So Greg Hugel hit 27-32. On for his 30-yard attempt.
It was the most field goals in the country last year. This guy was virtually automatic.
Pulls it to the left, but through. And it's a 7-point lead here in the first half. 10-3. Clemson goes up. You know, we've talked about Mike Williams, and I want to take you back. This was a nasty, nasty looking injury. Now watch number 7 and go back to the goalpost. Oh! So he suffered small broken bone in the neck. Missed the rest of the season. Signaled to the crowd that he was okay as they carted him off. And it's so great to see him back here tonight.
It sure is. And when you look at the game he's having right now, already over 100 yards in that first half. He's been a dominant force. I think the amazing thing to me is after such a serious injury like that, he actually looks to me like he's bigger and faster and stronger than he was even at the start of last year.
You know, what's interesting, I was talking to, actually up in Tennessee, with some of the fine trainers up there about when the fellows get injured, what happens. And you know, they come in and they start working out right away, even after arthroscopic knee surgery. And he said they do spend a lot of time. And he said sometimes they do get into better shape. Just to follow up what you said.
It's amazing.
That's Ford back deep that you saw on the ground to run the seconds down here in the first half. There's a penalty flag on this play as the clock runs back down.
They're going to get a hold on Ryan Davis, a wide receiver, who's playing on the kickoff return team.
And that, of course, means that the first half's coming to an end, I believe.
Holding during the return. Number 83. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And now,
correction. Decline. Halftime.
So it was declined, and that's halftime. And so it is 10-3 Clemson.
This is Field & Stream Store's Kickoff Week.
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Prime Time, presented by Geico as part of Field & Stream Store's Kickoff Week. Welcome back, everybody. We've got a competitive score, certainly, 10-3. Clemson leading Auburn. Jesse Palmer, that's a misleading score. We talk about the Clemson offense all the time, but the Clemson defense is pretty good, too.
I think that's really the story right now in this game. They've held the Auburn Tigers with just 38 total yards, 1 yard rushing. They've only run 23 plays. I've been really impressed by this unit that has 8 new starters. They're dominating at the point of attack. Up front on the defensive line, they're creating penetration in the run game. They've sacked Auburn quarterbacks twice. Now, those numbers on the right, that's the bad news for Auburn. But the good news is, you just kind of mentioned, Brent, they're only down 7 points. I think for Auburn to get back in this game offensively, they've got to pick a quarterback, stick with them, but they've got to get back to running the football.
Tougher job for USC. They're now down 45-6 to Alabama.
Wow.
I don't think there's anybody out of USC that wants to have that Roll Tears t-shirt, huh? Roll Tide, and they're rolling. 10-3 as we get ready to start. Auburn will handle the ball with the first series, having deferred after they won the opening coin toss. To the goal line, Jonathan Ford reaches down. Penalty flag as he breaks free out to the 45.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 27. The penalty is half the distance. First down.
And let us check in down below with Kaylee Hartown. Kaylee?
Well, guys, we thought that we could see all 3 of Auburn's quarterbacks earlier in this game. We didn't realize how early it would be, as by the end of that second series, we saw all 3. Gus Malzahn just told me that was the plan all along. He now feels like they've figured out what they need to do. It comes down to execution. But as Gus told us coming into this game, his biggest question was, how would this team respond to adversity? Now's the time to learn that.
And Kaylee, no surprise seeing number 6, Jeremy Johnson, jog onto the field. They've been, I think, the most successful running and throwing when he's been in the game.
Kerryon Johnson is the running back. He's number 21. Jeremy Johnson, 3 of 4.
Wow.
And Kerryon hit in that backfield for a loss. He's back by the 2-yard line. Clemson's D, led by Farrell, they're starting to dominate up front.
Yeah, they are, and that's Cleveland Farrell that makes the play in the background. Again, they've been living in Auburn's backfield so far in this game, especially in the run game. I think about half the runs Auburn's run, they've been made contact in the backfield by Clemson D-line. Look at that. 8 of 14 design run plays. Contact behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, Franklin has also gone in the little trickeration as they took Jeremy Johnson out, and there's nothing doing as Chandler Cox.
The second time they've tried running that play. Yeah, and Carlos Watkins, number 94, again, able to get penetration. Auburn's offensive line has just been overwhelmed, and in particular by the interior of this Clemson D line. Carlos Watkins, we've seen the true freshman Dexter Lawrence making plays. Christian Wilkins, Now here you have a 3rd and long backed up. You've got to have a plan here at quarterback. If you're Jeremy Johnson, you cannot hold on to this football because Clemson has been in the backfield all night.
Going to run it out, try to give the punter a little daylight here.
He's really impressed with Clemson's defense. They're just fitting. There are a bunch of guys out there that haven't played in a lot of games. The defensive line is eating up blocks the way they are and getting pushed. It just opens up lanes for linebackers and DBs to fit up into. Brent Venables, we talked about it. 2nd straight year, he's had to replace 8 starters. His unit right now playing lights out.
So McLeod, the punt returner, figures to give Deshaun Watson tremendous field position here. He's got a fair catch at the Auburn 45-yard line. And so Deshaun comes out 11 of 19 tonight for 148 yards. Has not yet thrown a touchdown pass nor an interception. He's also carried 7 times for 23 yards. So a very short field.
And he kind of found his groove, I think, there in the 2nd quarter. Early in the game, missed a couple of open throws that I think could have been big plays, but he started finding big number 7, Mike Williams, and that was sort of a security blanket. Since then, he hasn't missed very much.
Number 57, Deshaun Davis, signaling, moving defenders around. He's played very well defensively. Gallman, and keeping it was Watson after the fake, and challenging him on the sideline is Nick Ruffin, who was shaken up. Good to see here that he's back on the field, so it'll be 2nd down.
So if I'm defensive coordinator Kevin Steele for Auburn, I've seen enough of Mike Williams now. He already has over 100 yards receiving. I would double him every play and trust in my defensive line to start controlling the line of scrimmage to slow down this Clemson rushing attack. I do not want to die a fast death through the air to Mike Williams. Take your chances with your D-line.
Carlton Davis has him. Deshaun looks the other way and underneath to the 39, and Hunter Renfrow, first catch of the game. With the injury to Williams last year, Renfrow stepped up big, especially in that national championship game. He caught 2 touchdown passes early against the Crimson Tide.
Really in the playoffs, right? He had 3 TD catches. He had another big one against Oklahoma in the semifinal. Just a guy that has a good feel for working in soft spots and zone coverage over the middle of the field.
3rd down and 5. Here comes pressure. Watson stands, delivers. Williams, what a great catch. Juggles it and comes down with the football. Big time.
What got this play off, though, was Wayne Gallman at running back, giving him time in pass pro. You see there, Carlton Davis draped all over Mike Williams, but we talk about the catch radius and the big body, able to shield guys off and long arms, and able to make that catch.
So here's the snap, and Deshaun will come back, give it to the big fellow who protected him that time. Gallman's had another fine day. Carried it 17 times for the Tigers here tonight, who lead it by 7.
We talked about him, Brent, getting stronger as the game goes on. 17 carries and counting. This is generally the time in games that he can wear defenses out.
Carlton Davis backs off now. This receiver package going to go deep to the end zone. Williams pushing, catches out of bounds, then drops it. And that was Carlton Davis. It was interesting to see him back away. Thought that Deshaun might take a shot. That was the call.
That was phenomenal coverage that time by Carlton Davis. I was glad to see a no call here. There was definitely some contact going on, but Carlton Davis turned his head around to locate the football, and that's a good no call. We talked about Carlton Davis. He was injured earlier. Good to have him back on the field. Again, he's their best chance to match up mano-a-mano with number 7, who's now out of the game.
Brought Nick Ruffin up over the top. Gave him a double team on that time with the safety. You can see Deshaun Davis creeping up on this 3rd and 7. Firing back to incomplete. So that time it was Jonathan Ford was over on the coverage against Renfrow.
The defense has held up their part of the bargain in this game so far. It's now time for Auburn's offense to wake up. help get this crowd back in the game and do their part. Completely one-sided from Auburn tonight.
Blythewood, South Carolina. Greg Hugel. He's already kicked one field goal here this evening. Ooh. Pulls this one through.
That was a great hole.
40-yard field goal attempt.
A high snap, and Seth Ryan able to get that football down. Nice job.
David Estes was the long snapper, and the coach actually had a word for him as he came over to that side. Great job, as you pointed out, by Seth Ryan from Summit, New Jersey. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. 13-3, Clemson over Auburn. Alabama all over USC. 52, I believe, to a couple of field goals. Auburn set to receive. Well, it has not been an easy task filling this man's shoes. Cam Newton had to beat Clemson in overtime to preserve that early, Jess.
Yeah, listen, Cam Newton's a once-in-a-generational type player, and there have been many guys that have had to take over. Barrett Trotter and Clint Mosley, Kyle Frazier and Jonathan Wallace. I think Nick Marshall probably did the best job of all of them. He was once a defensive back at Georgia, now playing DB in the NFL. And we have yet to see how Jeremy Johnson and Sean White's future will turn out, but difficult to live up.
Now we're going to try Franklin. John Franklin's number 5. He's the JC transfer. Got the ball into Johnson's hands, and one of the few times tonight we've had a great looking run from scrimmage. They want the penalty flag, and they're going to get it. Yep. Late hit over here on the sideline, so that'll give this team a little bit of a lift. Now if Franklin can run this read option that Malzahn draws up, maybe that gets something going.
15-yard penalty, first down.
John Franklin, I think, probably has the greatest upside from a physical standpoint of all these quarterbacks. You're going to see right here, number 6, Dorian O'Daniel. He just comes in way late. He tried to hold up at the last second, but that's the right call. Offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley right there. There's an explosive play finally for this Auburn offense.
Moves the ball across midfield now for Auburn, and there is Franklin on the read, handing off again to Kerryon Johnson. Now, the one thing that Clemson defenders are doing, they're freezing a little bit on this because they know how fast Franklin is. John Franklin might be, I want to say might be, the fastest man on this Auburn team, we've been told. This is starting to open up things. Let's see what happens when Franklin gets a chance to run it. Handing off, doing a very good job. Number 5 is patient. He's letting that in commit.
Now, he was a backup quarterback at Florida State, went to JUCO, East Mississippi Community College, and here he is at Auburn. You're right, Brent. He's the fastest of all the quarterbacks. Coaches told me he's faster than Nick Marshall. He's got a very strong arm, but his accuracy at times is inconsistent. Now they're making another quarterback change, and you can hear the boos now coming from the crowd. When they've got something good going, they don't seem to want to stick with that quarterback.
Second down and 8. Not as much. You gotta answer me a question. Why would you make that change, Jesse? Why would you do that right there?
Yeah, see, personally, I would. Easy for me to stay standing all the way up here. Gus Malzahn's a much brighter offensive mind than I am, but I know one thing: when I'm moving the chains with one guy, I'm not taking him out.
Johnson gonna fire. Got a man open, intercepted. Picked off beautifully in the middle of the field. Jadar Johnson.
Pressure from Scott Pagano, defensive line, forced Jeremy Johnson not to be able to set his feet. It looked like he had a wide open receiver in Marcus Davis. But Jadar Johnson, one of those new DBs, replacing NFL talent, comes over and hawks us. Watch Johnson. He's not able to get his feet set quite. Throws a little bit off balance. It's high. And Johnson comes over and just high points this football. And again, Brent, you keep changing quarterbacks. There's no rhythm on the offense. Things are going well that time. There with John Franklin. You bring in Jeremy Johnson. 2 plays later, turnover.
Choice is now the running back for the Tigers. Let's talk again about this Clemson offensive line. Mitch Hyatt, Taylor Hearn, Jay Guillermo, Tyrone Crowder, Jake Morgan. They've been in a battle tonight. That's a very, very good Auburn defensive front. And they have rounded out 89 rush yards and 166 passing for Clemson here tonight. But they've had their hands full, that offensive line, with this front. You can see that right there. You see the penetration that those big fellas are getting for Auburn. And
well, Auburn's
I'm not sure that I've ever seen the quarterback position managed quite like I've been watching here tonight. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. And it's frustrating for these Auburn fans as well. Because the defense right now, I mean, they're back on the field again. They're not getting a chance to break. And they're making plays themselves, keeping this team in the game. But they need the offense to carry their own weight. I think a big part of that is just sticking with one guy.
3rd and 6 now. Here comes the defense. Floats one outside. Intercepted. Picked off by Holsey. What a fine game he's played. Defended Williams twice in the end zone. Now they got some field position. Now what are we going to come off of here on offense?
And yet again, the defense bailing out the offense. We were just talking about that. You mentioned it. Holsey's been the best secondary player tonight. That started with pressure up front for Auburn, getting back to Deshaun Watson. Going to be coming from the right-hand side. That's Carl Lawson beating the left tackle Hyatt around. And just a great job of the cornerback getting his head turned around, locating the football. Carl Lawson doing a nice job not slamming Deshaun Watson, potentially getting a roughing the passer penalty.
Sean White will take the snap. He's the quarterback. Quick pitch down to the outside, and Truitt. So Truitt picks up 9 yards on that catch. So here is Sean White trying to keep it going now with a little tempo.
Brent, no matter who's in the game, tempo. Get back to doing what you do. Play fast.
Another quick pitch, and the receiver was in a little bit too tight. That's an incomplete pass. The two offensive players, there wasn't enough daylight over there.
So it's 3rd and short, and this is a play that they got to be able to run and run the football. What Auburn wants to do offensively is to run the ball. Their offensive line is getting beaten at the point of attack all game long. This offensive line now needs to come out of their cleats, create a new line of scrimmage, convert this.
Fake the run, throw, diving reception, out at the 1-yard line. Great catch by Kerryon Johnson, the running back. What a catch.
Everybody in the stadium, including myself, expected run, and they go fake quarterback draw with Sean White. They're able to sneak out Kerryon Johnson on the wheel route, and a perfectly thrown ball this time by White. They're going to review this. So he's got the football in. Looks like his right hand. He dives out there, brings it into his body. It's in the right hand. The question is going to be when he comes to the ground, did the ground help him catch this football? Ruling on the field is it's a catch. You need indisputable video evidence to overturn this, and I don't think from any of those angles right there, Brent, I saw any of that. I think this will be, I see the pole kind of gets in the way. See, I think.
There's the one that they're going to take another look at.
Yeah, I think that's the best angle for you.
That's the point of the football. Coming down. The boys will re-rack that one right there.
Yeah.
You be the official.
It was a tremendous effort by Johnson stretching out to catch that ball. Now, the ball's allowed to touch the ground so long as you have total control of the football at that moment. I don't think watching that on that replay, it looked like Kerryon Johnson did.
The fellows on the sideline have seen the different angles. This is the biggest video board in all of college football.
Okay, now, even if you don't get it here, as a staff on Auburn, you've got to have a play and an idea and a plan ready for 4th and 1 if you're going to go for that. You got to be talking about that now in the worst case scenario. This gets overturned if you're not going to kick a field goal. But I agree with you, Brent. I think from that last angle, I think that was enough evidence to get this thing overturned.
After further review, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The ball is 4th and 1 at the 26. Please reset the game clock to 7:25.
They're going to go for it. A field goal makes it a one-possession game. Gus Malzahn here showing a lot of confidence in his offensive line. They've had a tough go at it tonight with this front from Clemson.
White brings motion. Kerryon Johnson got the handoff, and it looks like they're going to give him the first down. Judging from that side official who came running down, 1st and 10.
There was a nice job in the interior of that line that time by the center Xavier Dampier. Left guard Alex Kozan just getting a hand on blitzing linebacker Ben Boulware and just knocking him off balance. It's all the room that Kerryon Johnson needed. Big gamble pays off.
So the ball is just across the 25-yard line, and the umpire detected a false start.
False start, offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's 7 penalties against Auburn tonight, 47 yards. There have been 3 against Clemson for 25 yards.
And that's just mistakes you just can't afford to have if you're Auburn, especially up front on the offensive line, because noise isn't an issue. You're playing at home.
Dampier, the center. White, the quarterback. Johnson, the running back. Clock's running down inside of 5. Looks like they got it off just in time. Ran right straight ahead with Kerryon Johnson here tonight. He's carried for 40 yards.
He's a guy, Brent, that was highly recruited, #1 prospect out of the state of Alabama last year. And with the departure of those 3 other running backs, they're not going to have to find out if he's going to be a workhorse back and a guy that can carry it 20, 25 times a game and last this season.
Petway replaces him right now on 2nd down and 11. Petway goes 240. He's out of Montgomery. A little bigger, more powerful back. White's in trouble, and he is sacked at the 33-yard line.
That time, Kendall Joseph, middle linebacker, just mugged the center, Xavier Dampier, and was able to push him backwards. But Clemson, this is a position that they've had, you're going to see him right here coming in. They've had a lot of success at that middle linebacker position. Stephon Anthony a few years ago, 1st-round pick. B.J. Goodson last year, drafted by the New York Giants. He might start for them, and now here's number 34, Kendall Joseph, replacing big shoes and making a big play.
White very frustrated. Dampier's coming back on him as center. He tripped over his own leg that time. 3rd down and 17. Fire complete. Just shy of the first down. Marcus Davis, the senior from Boynton Beach, Florida.
And they don't know who their playmakers are offensively. Marcus Davis, senior receiver, making a big play. Now you've got another 4th down again. 4th and short. Gus Malzahn keeping the foot down on the pedal.
Chandler Cox, H-back, checks back into the game. 4th down and 1. Trailing it by 10. And timeout called by Clemson. Burn their first timeout here in the 2nd half. Dabo wants to talk to his defense. Still a lot of time left in this football game. Huge play when you come back. Well, the NFL left Sunday night wide open this Labor Day weekend, so it'll be Notre Dame, Texas at 7:30 Eastern time. And a week from now, New England Patriots, how will they make out without Tom Brady, against Arizona? But you will enjoy Notre Dame and Texas on Sunday night.
I think a lot of people remember the score from last year when they played week 1, Notre Dame winning 38-3 up at their place. And There's some people out there that just still think that's kind of going to be the idea, but not so fast. Texas running a new up-tempo offense. Big question marks. We're going to see maybe 4 quarterbacks in the game, 2 apiece. Notre Dame's lost a lot of their leaders, big-time playmakers. Watch the quick huddle here from Auburn.
Toss. Power. Cox got it. First down.
They go with a quick huddle, and they ended up lining up in a big unbalanced formation, and they caught Clemson off guard the last second. It looked like there were some Clemson defensive linemen trying to call timeout right after Auburn broke the huddle. They knew that they were outflanked, and Clemson didn't get a call.
Another change at quarterback. Jeremy Johnson checks in. Checking over at the sideline. First down and 10. Fire high, but complete to the 11-yard line is Ryan Davis.
Now, I love Gus Malzahn going for these 4th downs. I think common sense tells you kick a field goal, make it a 1-possession game, but he's trying to give a spark to this team and to this stadium. And I think he realizes who's playing quarterback on the other sideline, and that Clemson's probably not going to get stuck with just 13 points in this game. You know, both teams could be trading.
Sean White now reports in, and Johnson back to the sideline. And they bring the wide receiver around, and he's just short of a first down. That's Truitt. The active little 5'9" jitterbug came around.
Jet sweeps are something they like to do, Brent. We haven't seen a lot of that from this Auburn offense yet. It's a nice little mix-up.
3rd down and 1. Roll White, going to throw back. Got him. Missed it. He had him wide open. Cox had broken free of Williams in the end zone, and they couldn't quite hook up.
And it was a nice setup by the coaching staff because they just ran the jet sweep. Now they go back and fake the jet sweep, trying to take advantage of the fast flow. So now Auburn going for it on 4th down, bringing in some big bodies.
With Johnson, the quarterback.
There's a substitution problem. They're trying to get Kerryon Johnson off the field. He's late.
Still had a little bit of time. 9 on that play clock. Cox in motion. 4th down and 1. Johnson does not start quickly as a runner. If you're going to send Johnson in, you would think they might have a pass play in mind. But instead, they come up short. Clemson's defense holds. And it's 13-3, the number 2 team. Watch Coach Swinney react.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Field & Stream, where traditions begin. Shop our outdoor gear and apparel in-store or online at fieldandstreamshop.com. And Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Clemson takes over on its own 6-yard line after stopping Auburn on 4th down again. And they come with the running play. Alabama has dominated USC. Let's go to the studio and Adnan Burke. Adnan. Oh my. It's not a good opening weekend for the SEC, Justin.
Yeah, Mississippi State went down to South Alabama. Missouri had a really tough time with West Virginia as well. We see an Auburn injured player. That's number 95, Dontavius Russell.
However, folks, there's always Alabama. 52-6 is the final score. The Tide rolls over USC. There is the scoreboard. Dandy game in Atlanta and Georgia prevails. They'll have Eason now at quarterback, I'm sure. And there is a Southern Miss taking down Kentucky. Florida 24-7 over UMass down in Gainesville. Arkansas squeezes one out for a big upset up at Lambeau Field. Texas A&M in overtime. Dandy win now for Kevin Sumlin. And you're all up to date. And here Auburn trails Clemson 13-3. Here's Gallman, the running back. I have to say, the entire college football universe, other than where we are in the Southeast, the SEC conference, the rest of the universe is loving it. But I'm going to remind everybody, we're not yet in January, so hang on, everybody. Still a lot of snaps to go. But
a lot of shakeup, though. 2 top 5 teams going down today.
Yeah.
Hey, like all the preseason talk and preseason rankings, that's meaningless. This is why you play the games. Thank God today finally got here.
The dogs are howling. Ooh. Not intercepted. Had a great shot. Carlton Davis couldn't quite hang on to it, and that would have given them unbelievable field position.
Yeah, Paul James, the third at defensive end's the one that actually tipped this football, number 10. You see right there? Couldn't catch it, Jordan Leggett, and then Carlton Davis, who just made a huge tackle the play before, just sneaks between his hands. That's one he'd love to have back. It's probably the second drop interception in this game. Remember, Rudy Ford had one early in the first quarter. Nonetheless, Auburn's going to get good field position here.
Yeah, Davis, good return, man. Teasdall, the punter. They'll work with half a field. It's down at the Clemson 49-yard line. And, of course, we talked about Notre Dame and Texas Sunday. Then on Monday night at 8 p.m., Ole Miss and Florida State, SEC, ACC, just like we got here, Jess.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Shaq Kelly, who last year's leading passer in the SEC, a dark horse for the Heisman. Dalvin Cook, another Heisman candidate, Florida State. Take a look at Bo Jackson.
You know what he's shaking his head about? Come on, somebody explain to me how we're handling this quarterback.
Why can't anybody be as good as an athlete as I was? I can see how that might be frustrating.
So they'll try carry on Johnson, and very good run to the 35-yard line.
More trickeration from Gus Malzahn. He sends Jeremy Johnson out there and kind of crouches him and hides him in the running back spot right over here. And it looked like there might be a reverse. The defense seemed like they were sort of keyed on it, but Kerryon Johnson's looked good here in the second half. John Franklin now back in the game. If you're Clemson, you got to be anticipating zone read. They got him lined up right now at running back.
Yeah, they go to Cox on a direct snap. 34-yard line, 33. Now it will be second down.
I got to imagine at some point, with all these quarterbacks crouched in these running back spots and they're faking handoffs to them, at some point there's going to be a play where Chandler Cox hands off to one of the quarterbacks and they throw it. We've seen that formation and that play multiple times now, and I think Clemson's got to be careful.
Sean White in at quarterback here on 2nd and 8. Quick pitch to the outside for the first down. Beautiful read by White. Brian Davis from St. Petersburg, Florida. And he's down in the red zone. Can Auburn finish this drive?
You're exactly right, Brent. You just looked, that was supposed to be a run play. He just looked out and saw Ryan Davis uncovered and spit it out to him. He's got it again here if he wants it at the top.
Come back with Kerryon and pounds down to the 15-yard line. Dexter Lawrence, the freshman. And we've still got an entire quarter to go. If Auburn can strike, remember they're an underdog in this game, we could have some fourth quarter coming up. It's 13-3. It's an uneasy lead for the number 2 team in the nation. You are looking live for the Clash of the Tigers. And we're tied. Got it long enough. And he puts Auburn up by 3. Auburn wins it in overtime. And then for Cam Newton, that gave them a chance to move on and win a national championship. And that night he came back after a really bad first half, finished 7 of 14, 203 yards. Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator. Gene Chizik was the head coach that night. So here we go, 2nd down and 7. Franklin, remember, had checked in as the quarterback. That read option look, and Kerryon Johnson, just seeing number 5 back there, has opened up huge holes for Kerryon Johnson. But one of these times, it won't be coming up next. He's coming over to the sideline.
Yeah, the issue that I think Auburn has in the red zone in these sorts of situations, especially a wide receiver, they don't have a lot of big bodies that can go up and make those tough catches. See one of these big formations again with the quarterback crouching at running back.
Now they shift. Cox coming around, play action, going to drop it off. Nothing doing here. It is 4th down. You're down by 10 points. I'm going to raise the, here we come. Here comes the field goal unit. You want to get yourself back into one score here. Yeah, and earlier, I understand what Gus Malzahn was trying to do, but I think he's even surprised at how well his defense is playing in this game. And exactly, you're right. Make this a 1-possession game now. Just see what happens. You've accomplished your goal. Deep water in the 4th quarter. Big 32-yarder. Trailing by 1 score. Can the defense get the ball back? And can the Auburn offense strike for a touchdown? The crowd can stay in this one now. 1 score down, 4th quarter. This great Clemson offense has not been able to separate. They have 266 total yards against the Auburn defense. And after we're done here at Jordan-Hare, SportsCenter will be on with Scott Van Pelt. What a busy weekend this is. What a great time of year. College football, U.S. Open, Major League Baseball, a lot of NFL cuts. How about Sam Bradford being traded to the Vikings? How about Mark Sanchez being picked up by the Dallas Cowboys? It'll all be coming your way on SportsCenter. And here we go now. So this much hyped ballyhooed offense, they need to come up with a drive. They have not put Auburn away. Play action, Watson rolls under pressure, steps away from it, and reception by Renfro for about an 8-yard gain. So it will be 2nd down and 2. If you're interested in Watson's stats, 13 of 25, 166, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. The running back Gallman has the only touchdown in this game. 2nd down and 2. Firing short. What a great tackle that time. Number 49 comes up big again for the defense. Darrell Williams on Kane.
Yeah, these linebackers for Auburn have just been flying around, being physical this entire game, sideline to sideline, laying hats. Here's a huge 3rd and short. We talked about this defensive line for Auburn being the strength of their team. Big down right here. This would swing momentum way back in their favor. This crowd would go off.
Kevin Steele's defense holding its helmets high, but this is a toughie at 3rd and 1. Watson communicates with his running back. Got the slash hole, and it is 1st down for Clemson. And Watson gave him the right advice there, didn't he, folks, when he turned to him?
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson just makes really good decisions. And it's not just not throwing interceptions or taking care of the football or reading coverages. It's in the run-pass game, in the zone read game, audibling at the line of scrimmage.
A little bit of an option toss to Gallman, trying to get outside, and you can see that tough tackling again, and that's Matthews, one of the safeties.
Deshaun Watson is just a football junkie. He's got tremendous football IQ, and that shows up on tape, and it shows up here on the field. It's not necessarily always in the statistics, but like you just saw in that last play, audibling, getting the offense into the right look.
On 2nd and 5, got time, deep, complete to Williams. Into the red zone, the leading receiver, as they have welcomed back Mike Williams from Vance, South Carolina, and Lake Marion High School. That's a 34-yarder.
And that might be the 6th back shoulder throw we've seen between these two. They said basically all throughout camp, Mike Williams had won about 90% of the 50-50 balls. Deshaun Watson had thrown them. They just have a very good chemistry together. And Watson does a really nice job reading Williams' body language and knowing where to put the football to give his big target a chance.
Gallman picks up 2 yards, so it's 2nd down and 8. Quick flip now to the outside. That's Artavis Scott. There's the penalty flag.
Oh. And Trey Matthews has played too much football.
To the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 28. Half the distance. First down.
He's got to know better than that. The Georgia transfer. He's made some big plays here in this game tonight. But he's got to keep his cool in this situation. Yeah, Artavis Scott, he's leaning over him, flexing on him a little bit, but you can't have that from an upperclassman at this juncture in the game. Gus Malzahn can't believe it.
And that makes it 1st down and goal. Play action incomplete in the end zone.
Oh.
Davis, that Carlton Davis that time, number 6, making a good play in the end zone.
Brent, no, he didn't break it up. Mike Williams, sorry, just dropped that ball. This is right in his hands. Carlton Davis got beat on the slant. Watch this route. It's a good one by Mike Williams. Ball's right out in front. That's just dropped.
2nd down and goal after the drop. Watson, no place to run. Stone back at the 17. Jonathan Ford. Kevin Steele bringing some heat that time. This is very impressive defensive performance.
Yeah, Rudy Ford's outstanding in the nickel. He's going to be coming off the edge here. He's got tremendous speed and quickness. He's trying to become the first Auburn player ever to lead the team in tackles 3 straight years.
There's Kevin upstairs in the booth.
What a game he's called, huh?
Done a great job with these kids. He's a lifer. Coaching. Been with a lot of programs. And a terrific job here tonight. 3rd and goal. Here comes pressure. Watson throws the end zone against it. And a grab. Touchdown. Renfro. There's Deshaun Watson. When you think of his performance tonight, coming up big on this strike.
He needs to turn around and give Wayne Gallman a huge high five. Wayne Gallman all night has been phenomenal in pass protection. This time he picks up Nick Ruffin coming on the blitz up the middle. Watch this get stoned, and that allows Deshaun Watson to get this football. If he takes a huge shot, arguably late, but Wayne Gallman, I really thought needed to improve his pass protection coming into this year. He's been outstanding in that tonight.
Off the upright. It was whistled down. So still inside of 10 minutes to go, and now it is 19-6. After that extra point hit the upright. Renfro battling for a little daylight. A two-hander. Want to remind you that this weekend is not over. Tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, it's Notre Dame and Texas as we continue this tremendous opening weekend. And on Monday, of course, it's Florida State and Ole Miss from Orlando. And Auburn, on their last 2 possessions, has made its way to the red zone, but they have only 1 field goal to show for it. They trail it by 13 right now, and they've got just inside of 10 minutes. Ford from the 2 to the 23-yard line.
For the 2.
Auburn still searching for a touchdown in this game. There's 2 field goals on that board.
Who's playing quarterback for Gus Malzahn right here? You've seen all 3 guys, Shaun White, Jeremy Johnson, John Franklin, all at different times, lining up in different formations. Game on the line. Who do you go to? And right now, Sean White, who started the game, back under center.
Juggled, but good defensive hit that time, and that was Tankersley, the one veteran back there.
Yeah,
in that defensive backfield. When you look just at some of these guys, Shaq Lawson, Kevin Dodd gone the NFL. They lost their 2 top pass rushers, 3 of their defensive backs. Lawson went the first round of the draft, Dodd in the second. Alexander and Green also went in the second, so they're breaking in a lot of new fellas here. Sean White goes deep, got a man open, complete to the 34, and freshman Kyle Davis from Loganville, Georgia, and he had separated.
The play action froze the free safety, Jadar Johnson. There's a fake reverse. Look at number 18 back here. He kind of gets stuck. He thinks there's the reverse. And that's when Kyle Davis runs right by him. That ball a little bit underthrown, but there's a huge explosive play in the passing game. Talked about the eye discipline they had to have against this type of offense. Clemson didn't have it there.
John Franklin checks in as the quarterback, and Kerryon Johnson. I have to tell you, the runs as a penalty flag comes late, the runs per handoff from Franklin for Johnson is going to be a pretty interesting stat. I'm still waiting for Franklin to take off and see if he can get the edge and see what kind of a burst he's got. There is the young man. Started at Florida State. Went the JC route.
Substitution infraction against the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Brian, I want to go back and show you how Clemson's reacting to John Franklin. They're not going to block Christian Wilkins right here, but they're so afraid of Franklin not handing this ball off and running outside that they're getting hesitation from the defensive end. That's the respect that they're giving John Franklin. That's what's opening up these creases for Kerryon Johnson up the middle.
But for not that time, the 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 15. White back in the game, hit on the release.
Oh, boy.
And they get away with a flag against the defensive secondary. A break for Auburn.
Pass interference, defense, number 18, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jadar Johnson, yeah, he's the guy that got his eyes caught in the wrong place on the bomber earlier. He gets beat on a double move here by Will Hastings and just basically tackles him. And that's an easy call to make. Jadar Johnson, one of those new safeties, Brent, you talked about. They have 3 new starters in the secondary. They lost 3 draft picks to the NFL. Jadar Johnson, who's a senior, he's played a lot of football. He's got his hands full right now.
John Franklin back on the field. Bursting straight ahead is Kerryon Johnson. That's been the one play that we know John Franklin knows.
Clemson that time very slow to fill. It's a wide open running lane. Just seems to be a little bit of hesitation. They seem to be on their heels.
2nd and 5. So it'll be 3rd down and short. Wilkins on that stop.
We haven't really seen John Franklin keep the football yet and get a chance to see his speed out in space. Let's see Gus Malzahn see if he can fabricate a way to get this athlete outside one-on-one and really kind of show that off.
We'll be down inside of 8 minutes on the game clock. 3rd down and 3. And now it's 4th down and 3. Johnson was stoned on that.
Dexter Lawrence, the true freshman, just ate a double team. They made a play in the backfield. Interior of that line for Clemson continuing to cause havoc. They're going to go for it on 4th.
Sean White will be the quarterback. Got the first down. Hastings. And to the 7-yard line. Number 33, Will Hastings again working his way open.
Brent, this is a great story. Will Hastings was their backup kicker a year ago. He was an onside kick specialist.
White hands it off this time, and Johnson is met. This will be second down.
Hastings has made some plays. 3 catches tonight. You know, he's a guy in high school, had 49 receiving touchdowns his junior and senior year. This guy's a guy that has a knack for the slot. Making a big play, and there's a spot where Kerryon Johnson, you see Will Hastings lining up in the slot again. He just kind of has that knack for finding open areas in zone coverage, and that's critical in the red zone.
Deflected. Incomplete, and Wilkins got a paw on it.
He's such a good athlete, Brent. And he's been playing defensive end mostly tonight as a 310-pounder. We talked about the fake punt he caught last year against Oklahoma. Understands he's not going to get to the quarterback, so he slows his rush down, fights off a cut block from the right tackle, somehow gets his hand on that football.
Cox checks in. Kyle Davis, the freshman, is off to the left. He made one big catch in this game. 3rd down and goal for White. Looks in the freshman's direction. Overthrew it. Incomplete.
One thing Auburn doesn't have is size at wide receiver like Clemson has, like a lot of other teams have. Marcus Davis is 5'9", 180. Ryan Davis, 5'9", 172. They don't just have a guy that can big body and go up over top of a cornerback and make the tough catch. It makes it so much more difficult as a quarterback throwing down here in the red zone when the windows are small. Who can step up here now and make a play for the Auburn Tigers?
4th down and goal. White fires, intercepted at the 1-yard line. Bulware, the ringleader of the defense, Ben Bulware from Anderson, South Carolina, the senior, with the interception, making a huge play. Bingo.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Well, the maturing oak trees, huh? After the poisoning killed the old ones, but doesn't look like they're going to be rolled tonight unless this Auburn defense can strike fast. Gallman bounces off a tackler trying to get the edge, and finally ridden down at the 5-yard line by Matthews. .336 yards of offense for Clemson here tonight. 228 yards of it passing by Watson. He's thrown for 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He's 18 of 31. And here he is on 2nd and 7. Handing off to Gallman, who has had a huge night and is closing in on 100 yards.
Let's go back to that interception, Brent. When you get in the red zone, timing is critical. These windows open and close so fast, and Sean White was late. You look at this play, he's got Stanton Truitt right here. He's got to throw this ball now to the outside. You're going to see Sean White, he kind of double clutches. He's eyeballing the throw, and Ben Bulware is just too much of a veteran. He jumps all over that, makes the key interception. Another fantastic play by Clemson's defense.
3rd down and 4 for one of the Heisman Trophy favorites this year. I don't think he's going to get it. Well, is he out of bounds? Let's see what happened. Incomplete is the ruling.
Anyway. Yeah. And again, Auburn's defense stepping up and making plays.
Great performance by the.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, you know, I think it'd be easy as a defensive player to kind of look out and see the offense struggling and just kind of get down and just ask yourself, you know, how much more do we have to do? But they keep answering the bell. They keep taking the field against what many believe to be the most talented offense in the country, and they keep making plays.
Well, here we go now. Marcus Davis is back. Need a couple of touchdowns to pull off the upset inside of 5 minutes. Not much time. Been in the red zone 3 times. There's a penalty flag flying. They haven't been able to record a touchdown. Depending on the penalty, This could be pretty good field position coming up here at the 4:44 mark.
Legal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty will be assessed at the end of the run. First down.
Excellent, excellent field position as a result of that. If Auburn is going to jump back in, they've got to strike in this next series. They are down a couple of scores here. 4:44 to go. We'll come back. The Clemson offense. Defense hasn't given up a score yet tonight. Now we look at the AP Top 10 presented by Goodyear. 2 of the top 5 have fallen. Oklahoma and LSU will both fall. Ohio State and Michigan were impressive today. Tennessee breathing a sigh of relief after the Thursday night win. Notre Dame still to play. Alabama will be number 1 regardless of what happens here the rest of the way. And should Clemson hang on, you would expect them to stay number 2. And of course, Florida State goes against Ole Miss on Monday night. So Auburn comes out with Sean White. Going to take the snap. And off on the end around. Johnson was lined up over there. And they brought him around as a ball carrier. And if they could just strike for a quick touchdown, give a chance here.
Well, Kerryon Johnson's had his most success in the zone read game with John Franklin and on these jet sweeps.
There's that fake. They tried that pass once before. Receiver covered. And helmet comes off of the quarterback. And I believe that means he's got to come out right now. And Lamar got to come out to the sideline for a play. And that means Franklin is dashing in from the sideline. He's handed off on all of his plays.
Yeah, we haven't seen
second
him throw
down
yet,
at
you're
12.
Right. We haven't even seen him run with the ball yet. I just think with his
now he's over on the wing.
athleticism.
Going to be a direct snap to Chandler Cox. He's going to hand it off and still get the ball back into Johnson's hands. And a lot of eye candy, but not much of a result. And here's your third down.
And which of these receivers can step up and win one-on-one in a big situation like this? We talked about them not having great size, but number 80, Marcus Davis, he's kind of their go-to guy. He's not their biggest receiver. He's down here at the bottom of the screen, matched up against Tankersley. He's a guy that just has a knack for making plays.
A lot of time. Can't find the open man. And incomplete to Slayton.
It's a penalty flag too, Brent. It's going to be a late hit on Clemson on Ben Boulware.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 10. Penalty is half the distance. First down.
That gives life to this Clemson offense again. Dabo Swinney saying, you got to think. You're a senior. You're one of our leaders. There's no need for this. Throws it away, and Boulware just kind of gives him that shot way out of bounds. Just those mental mistakes that drive coaches crazy.
So 4 consecutive possessions now in the red zone for Auburn.
Jeremy Johnson lined up at wide receiver in the Wildcat down here.
They're going to bring him in motion. And carry on for the goal line. Touchdown alive. Underdog Auburn strikes with a huge touchdown. Much bigger for some than others.
And just the fake reverse by Jeremy Johnson just froze this defense. Watch these 3 defenders over here. They just take a split second late to get outside, and that allowed all those blockers from Auburn to get their angles for Auburn's first offensive touchdown of the game.
Daniel Carlson. Alive. Maybe I spoke too soon about Tumors. Arm up, everybody. Got a chance. Now we're going to see the Heisman Trophy favorite. What can Deshaun Watson do? What a huge week. We'll top it off Monday night, Ole Miss at Florida State. Jesse, I got to say something about Dave Brown, our former programming guy. He convinced all these coaches to play on this weekend. How great. Now, what was Dave like when he tried to talk to Spurrier to change the game?
I love Brownie, and it'd be something along these lines. Hey, Coach, can we get you to just move off from a home game week 1? Maybe go to a neutral site. It'd be good for the game. It'd be good for business. Everybody wins. It's what the fans want. Can you help me out? Jesse, can you call him and help me out? Brownie, we love you, man. Awesome job.
You got it perfect. Hans' team is out for Clemson at the 3:22 mark. Let's see if they want to come up. Remember, they got burned with an onside kick in that Alabama game, and they're spread wide on the flanks this time. Carlson booms it away and says, all right, take it on the 25. Our defense is doing great. Let's go down below to Kaylee.
Well, guys, through the offseason, Gus Malzahn wasn't shy about saying that he thought his defensive line could be the best in the country. Now, his defensive coordinator, Kevin Steele, wouldn't go that far when we talked to him yesterday, as he said he still needed to see this unit play a game together. But Kevin Steele, a guy whose career has spanned more than 30 years, through stops in 3 different conferences and the NFL, says he has never had a defensive line to coach with this much depth and this much skill among that depth. We've seen they haven't made it easy for Clemson's offense tonight.
Well, let's see what they've got left. They've pulled to within 6. There's Gallman again, pushed out of bounds as he gets ever closer to 100 yards tonight.
Kayla, you talked about that depth they have. Kevin Steele believes he can go 10 deep on the defensive line. In a game like this, with the tempo Clemson likes to run, they've used a lot of different bodies, and they've been able to stay fresh. Big reason why they've been able to be as dominant as they've been.
3 minutes. They're bringing that clock down. Precious seconds. 2nd and 4. Deshaun continues to milk it. Steps away from trouble, takes off, got a first down. A nifty first down at the 2:39 mark.
There's that foot quickness from Deshaun Watson. It looked like he was going to get stopped in the backfield by Deshaun Davis at linebacker, having a phenomenal game. Just makes him miss the sidestep, the L1 button. Dangerous runner. He's got all the tools in the toolbox to make it difficult on opposing defenses. And a huge first down that, because of that great effort, bleeds this clock even more.
Down toward the 2 minutes remaining here. Auburn desperate for a stop. Clemson going to keep this ball on the ground. They're going to keep this clock moving.
If you're Gus Malzahn, you got to start thinking about using timeouts, and he's using one right now.
Timeout, Auburn. "30-second timeout."
I've really been impressed with both defenses tonight, Brent. Everyone was talking about Clemson's offense and this juggernaut, and how Auburn was just, was going to get scared and was going to be on their heels, and they've answered the bell. I've been very impressed with Auburn in the athleticism and talent, particularly up front on the defensive line. On the flip side, Clemson was a unit the 2nd straight year. It had to replace a lot of starters and guys that had gone on to the NFL after losing 7 draft picks on their side of the ball. And they played lights out. In a defensive war here at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Game clock starts on the snap. Batted away, and that stops the clock. I'm a little bit surprised. Davis did a good job there.
Clemson had bump and run coverage across the board. You'd expect them to run, but because of the matchup in a one-on-one with Mike Williams, they try again for the back shoulder, but this time, phenomenal coverage by Carlton Davis on the outside, and Deshaun Watson takes a huge shot from Mr. Lawson. And you're right, Brent, stopping the clock. How big of a third down is this? Carl Lawson rushing from Deshaun Watson's right side.
Throwing again downfield, and Williams makes the catch on the sideline and out of bounds. What a big gamble, and they pull it off.
You've seen tonight how different Mike Williams makes this Clemson offense. This back shoulder throw virtually has been unstoppable all day long. But, you know, Auburn, there's nothing more that Carlton Davis can do. They've got their best cover guy on him, and that's very, very good coverage. It's just very hard to locate the football on these back shoulder throws, and Mike Williams doing a nice job of just staying in bounds, converting yet another first down.
On 3rd and 7, a 20-yard gain for Watson. He's now thrown for 248 yards. Now they come back, and here's Gallman to daylight. Hurdles to the 23-yard line.
That puts Gallman over the 100-yard mark himself. It's going to be tough, Brent, for defenses throughout the ACC to have to handle Clemson this year, because you got to pick to do one thing: either double cover Mike Williams and get left open to being run on by Gallman, or you load the box and leave yourself susceptible to one-on-ones. But there's a lot of ACC defensive coordinators, I think, watching this game tonight, and they're shaking their head thinking, man, what do we do? Well,
we bring down the curtain on a terrific day of college football. It's Houston earlier today. Shock number 3, Oklahoma. And then Wisconsin stunning LSU up in Green Bay. In overtime, a dandy Texas A&M survives against a game UCLA team. Georgia holding off North Carolina over in Atlanta. And then Alabama showing why they're #1 and going to be hard to dethrone. And now 1:41 to go, and pounding away to put away their first win of this season. And the timeout, that's the last one, I believe, for Auburn in this game.
Third final timeout. 30 seconds.
Well, you know, Jesse, we just take a look at results, and I know it's been really a game Auburn team, but as of right now, you would think there's a possibility. I don't want to get ahead of myself, because Clemson has to go to Florida State. Louisville is going to be a little bit trickier than everybody thinks this year. We could have a rematch between Alabama and Clemson.
Yeah, we certainly could. You know, the thing I think I take away from this first week is that we had a lot of questions coming into the season. I think every team had one major question. I think some of those questions were answered today. Alabama, it was about the quarterback position. Right. They seem to have that answer with Jalen Hurts. LSU, we thought, was a quarterback question, and Brandon Harris didn't. It still is a question. You're absolutely right. With Georgia, Jacob Eason kind of takes over there and established himself. Oklahoma had question marks on defense and on the offensive line, and that manifested itself today in a loss against Houston. It's very, very early. Lots of football to be played. It's not to say any of those teams are out of the playoff necessarily, but I still think we did learn a lot of things today.
Thrown back here at the 1.5-minute mark, and third down comes up. Davidson in the midst of that defensive effort.
I think we learned a lot about Clemson today, Brent. I think their big question mark was defense. And we don't know yet how good of an offense Auburn is. We're going to have to wait for more games to be played to figure that out. But so far, Brent Venables' side of the ball answering the bell again. I'm kicking a field goal if I'm Clemson on 4th down in this game. It's a 1-touchdown game right now, leading it by 6. I'm going to try to put this on a 9. Well, they've still got one left here. They've brought it down now inside of a minute. take a look at the schedule for Clemson coming up, and it's not a cakewalk. They've got a short week at Georgia Tech to get this young defense ready for the spread option. They've got Louisville, and I think dark horse Heisman candidate Lamar Jackson coming in town right after that. Boston College played great defense a year ago. Pittsburgh 6-2 in the conference last year. James Conner's back, but really the big one right here, October 29. The winner of that game since 2008 has gone on to represent the Atlantic Division in the ACC title game. So this is no cakewalk for Deshaun Watson and Clemson if they are going to get back to that national title game, as you talked about, Brent. So 3rd and 10, I think that timeout.
Yeah, Auburn's out of timeouts too. So here's Gallman. They get him out of bounds at the 45-second mark with Davis. Now it's going to be up to Dabo to decide what to do here. It doesn't look like you can have anything to do with a field goal on this 4th down. Leads it by 6. Gallman, then the workhorse, and so the ball goes back to Auburn with 40 seconds remaining. You're going to have a lot of second guessing. Should Auburn come up with a miracle on that?
I agree
because
with
putting
you.
it on 9 is a vastly different thing. Now, having said that, there's no indication that we have seen that Auburn is going to be able to, in 40 seconds, no timeouts, march 75 yards for a touchdown. We have just not seen that explosiveness out of this offense, but you never know.
So you hear Dabo Swinney there telling his defense, look, they've got no timeouts. Make tackles in bounds. Keep the football in front of you in this prevent defense.
White's going to throw back off the fake, and then out of bounds is Truitt. Down to 34 seconds remaining.
Remember 2013, Auburn had all those miracles in them. It almost seems like a team destined to make it to the national title game. Or that play against Georgia, tip. They had one of those last year against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. I wonder if they got some magic in them here.
2nd down. The clock is important right now. Overthrew his receiver. Would have had a 1st down and makes it down number 3.
And it's an offense, Brent, that's not conducive to having to play catch-up throwing the ball. They want to be a run-first team, and last year not very efficient throwing it. They haven't been overly efficient throwing it in this game either. This is just not the comfort zone for Shaun White in this offense.
Third and 2. Make it a 1st down, quick stop, and they've got to hurry. They've got 23 seconds. They're going to stop it. White's got to get him up to the line now. And they're going to clock it. You know, that's a situation where you like your quarterback to come up and run something, to be in charge of things out there. You know what I'm saying, Jesse?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I think Shaun White, the best throws he makes are these in-breaking routes. And in these prevent defenses, there's a lot of holes over the middle of the field for Shaun White to exploit.
Carry on, next one.
There it is again.
Got middle, open, here we come. Marcus Davis down now to 16 seconds.
The good news is you've at least now given yourself a chance to throw one into the end zone if you're Auburn.
Clock it again.
And there's always, you know, the theory on defense. You've had so much success all game long getting after Auburn's quarterbacks. Brent Venables likes to bring pressure. All of a sudden, you take your foot off the gas, you go into these prevent defenses, and all of a sudden, Shaun White's carving you up. For Brent Venables, you decide here just to mix it up and start bringing guys.
White going deep, got men open, incomplete.
But that got scary for a second because 2 Auburn receivers were in the end zone versus only 1 DB. Clemson let a bunch of guys just run right by them. That could have been disastrous for Clemson. Check this out down the sideline. Look, there's 2 Auburn players on 1 defender. That's a great effort there by Jadar Johnson. Knocked that football away.
Prevent defense is set again at the 6-second mark. They can show a quick sideline and out, maybe give themselves 3 seconds on the last play. Got to hurry now. Time's running out. You got to throw it. Clock's running out. Shows 0-0. End zone. Air. Jump ball. Knocked down and away. Clemson hangs on. Johnson again. Number 18. Did what a safety should do in this situation. Bat that ball to the ground.
And Brent, he batted it down twice. This is a phenomenal effort by Johnson. He went up, got the first touch on the football, then spiked it on the ground. Watch number 18 come here from the left-hand side. Up he goes. Gets a swat at it. Does the smart thing and knocks it on the ground. Wow.
Just thought for a second he might have had some magic. But it comes up a 6-point loser. 19-13.